Hey guys, welcome back to Real Entertainment. Today we are here to review and discuss Guy Ritchie's The Covenant. And I have to say, going into this film, I saw the trailer, I enjoyed it, I was, intrigued and interested to see it. Personally, I am a fan of a lot of military like or type movies. Um, for example, 13 Hours, Lone Survivor, and I would even include movies like Sicario 1 and 2, for example. All movies I consider to be good, if not great, films, very entertaining, and this movie to me is no different. It was very well directed, very well acted. The story was solid from beginning to end. Um, you know, I really enjoyed this film overall. I saw the trailers, but I feel like this movie didn't get a whole lot of media coverage. Even when you go onto YouTube and you look up Guy Ritchie's The Covenant movie review, you don't see the typical movie, like the biggest of the movie reviewers. And if you watch movie reviews often, you know who they are. I don't even have to name them. There's five, six, seven, really popular movie reviewers that, if you watch movie reviews, you definitely have heard of or watched or listened to. And I have not seen any of them cover this movie. It's shocking. It's mostly smaller YouTube channels like mine that are talking about this film. So I really have to, I really would like to talk about this movie. I decided to go check it out because the trailers, caught my attention and caught my interest. May as well cover it myself, and tell you what I thought about this film after watching it. And I have to say, it took, the first 20, 30 minutes or so were maybe a little bit slow, but not really worth complaining about, you know. It's setting up what's going to happen essentially with the rest of the film. But I have to say, after those first 30 minutes, I was like locked in to the movie. I enjoyed the hell out of it from beginning to end. Jake Gyllenhaal did a phenomenal job, playing the main character. I mean, come on, it's Jake Gyllenhaal. We all know he's a great actor. He's done so many great roles in his career. This is not a surprise or shock to anybody. But yeah, he did great as the main character in this film. Hopefully, I'm not butchering the co-star of this film's name. Dar Salim, I believe is his name. He plays Ahmed in the film. He plays the interpreter or translator. Um, he killed it in this role as well. He did very well with what he had to do in this film. Then you have, I believe his name is Anthony Starr, which if you watch The Boys on Amazon Prime, you know him as Homelander. He had a smaller role in this film, more towards the middle and end, and he did a solid job in his role as well. This is not a movie that's heavy on dialogue. It's pretty straightforward. It's pretty straight to the point. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. It's perfect for a film like this. It's perfect for a story like this. It's perfect for these type of military films, right? There's a mission. This is the mission. Let's get to it, right? Straight to the point. With that being said, it gives you what you want. If you like these types of films, it gives you what you want. It gives you the action, gives you the grittiness. It gives you, characters that you can, that are good leaders, characters that are good at what they do, characters that are honorable. Um, you know, it's got some heart to it. It's got just even a little bit of humor to it, that military humor. It's a really solid film overall. Like I have to say, I'm not as knowledgeable on Guy Ritchie's filmography as I should be. Uh, but I do remember liking some of his movies that I've seen in the past. and disliking or just maybe not being the biggest fan of some of his other stuff in the past. But this is a really, really solid film overall. If I had to give it some type of rating, I would give it like an 8 out of 10, maybe an 8.5 out of 10. I really enjoyed it from beginning to end. I might even go as far as a 9. It was really a solid film. Like, what can I say? There's really not a whole lot to say about this film except if you enjoy movies like The Lone Survivor, if you enjoy 13 Hours, if you enjoy the Sicario films, I feel like this has some similar cinematography to those films, right? Straight to the point, like those films are. Military lingo, military, characters. It's a really solid film. What can I say? Like, I highly recommend going out to go see this movie because I feel like it's slept on. I feel like not a lot of people are covering it. It's not getting as much media coverage as it should. If I have to guess, it's probably going to be considered, a bomb, or it's probably going to underperform, which is a shame. It's a really good film. Honestly, whether you go, depending on what movie theater or cinema you have near you. I'm in Wisconsin. We have Value Tuesdays, which used to be $5 Tuesdays. Now they're $7. Um, and yeah, it was well worth the $7. This movie I would have paid full price for, but I decided to check it out on a Value Tuesday because why not? Why not save yourself the money, right? And this movie did not disappoint. It did not disappoint at all. This is definitely probably in my top five, top 10 films I've seen this year. It's one of my favorites of the year. I saw Dungeons and Dragons recently. I saw Renfield recently. I saw 65 recently. I saw the newest Scream recently. Three of those movies were either decent to good, and the other one that I really enjoyed was Scream. And this is up there with Scream as one of my favorites of the year. So again, I highly recommend it. Um, if you are one of the many people that went to go see Top Gun Maverick, for example, then I also would recommend you go see this film, especially if you enjoyed Top Gun Maverick, because this is one of those movies. I mean, if I feel like if you liked that movie, you'd probably enjoy this one as well. Um, because that movie, similar to this one, good cinematography, good characters, straight to the point with its story. Not a whole lot of extra. It's very straightforward and straight to the point. Here's the mission, bada bing, bada boom, right? So again, if you were one of those people that went to go see Top Gun Maverick, and you enjoyed it, and you helped, you know, you helped that movie make a shit ton of money and helped it, kind of helped the movie theater stay in business. I highly recommend going to see this film because you won't leave disappointed. You will not leave disappointed. So, again, I recommend going to go see Guy Ritchie's The Covenant. Not a whole lot to say about this film except acting was top notch, action was good, cinematography was good, the score was very good. There was a lot of tense moments, and the soundtrack was perfect. Got to give it credit for that. The directing was very well done by Guy Ritchie. This is definitely, a good movie by him. And again, I recommend you go see it. So if you do, please go to the comment section. Tell me what you thought about it. Tell me if you agree. Tell me if you disagree. If you like, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, because we're going to have a whole bunch more reviews coming soon. Thank you very much. To get into a little bit of spoilers here, let me just say another thing I really enjoyed about this film was the fact that it wasn't based on a true story. I mean, right after I saw the film, I went to my car. I looked up, is Guy Ritchie's The Covenant based on a true story? And to my surprise, it's not. I really thought it was. But I guess I shouldn't be too surprised because usually when a movie is loosely based upon a true story or loosely based on a true story, movie trailers and, especially at the beginning of a movie, they're quick to tell you, multiple times this is based on a true story, like Cocaine Bear, for example, which is very, very loosely based on a true story, right? But surprisingly, this is not based on a true story. Um, and the reason why I say surprisingly is because it feels like a true story. Like you're watching it, the way it's directed, it feels like you're literally you're there with these people, with these characters, and it feels like this is something that really happened, and the way it goes down is the way it goes down because it doesn't feel over sensationalized. It doesn't feel, you know, as this movie doesn't feel as Hollywood as some military movies can feel sometimes, you know. It's done in a very realistic way. Like I don't really know how else to even explain it or describe it. If you see the film, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. It's done extremely well. Like you would assume that these are based on real people. You would assume that these characters are based on real people and that this is based on a real mission, a real mission. But surprisingly, it's not. But it is in a way, although it's not based on a true story. It's based on what really does happen, I guess, in the military and what happened in, the war after 9/11 and, the relationship between these soldiers and interpreters and translators, right? These Afghanistan translators and how helpful they were to the war. It really shows you that side that you may not have thought about, you know. So that's another very good aspect of the film that I have to give it credit for, where interpreters or translators are trying to escape the situation but want to help the U.S. military and would like to get their families and themselves, U.S. visas and relocate to America. And, they're not interested in being a part of the Taliban. They'd rather fight against them, right? So that was very cool to see that depicted in this film. Um, and that kind of sets it apart from other military movies that you've seen. That helps set it apart. That helps set it apart from other military films that you might have seen. So again, I thought this film was really well done. If you're a gamer like me, when I get done watching a movie like this, it really makes me want to go home and install my Ghost Recon Wildlands or similar games and and play that kind of game because it gets you in the mood for that kind of stuff. Seeing how tactical they are, and it's just a really good film. You know, Another thing I'll say is if a Call of Duty or Battlefield film ever gets made, ever gets greenlit, I would like to see it be similar to what we saw in this film because there was a lot of good action sequences. Um, and there was a lot of good action sequences in this film. Again, they don't over stylize it, they don't over sensationalize it. Like it's done in a simple, straightforward way, but still very entertaining to watch. You know, this is just really overall a solid film. Like that is really the perfect description in my opinion. It's so solid overall. Like it's very enjoyable. This one's definitely going to be added to my Blu-ray collection, and it's definitely going to be added to my, favorite military films that I've seen.